Many car manufacturers these days jump on the electric vehicle wagon, and so did Kia with the Soul EV. Kia took the combustion engine out from under the Soul's bonnet and replaced it with a 109 horsepower electric motor, which makes 285 Nm of torque. It's slightly less powerful than the 1.6 diesel, but the torque is slightly higher. The car accelerates from 0 to 100 km/h in about 12 seconds, just like the diesel version. Other differences? There is no proper grille. Instead, there is a latch with two plug sockets underneath. One is for the home charger, that's 12 hours to full, and then there is the rapid charger, which gives you 80% charge in 30 minutes. Because of the batteries, the boot volume fell from 354 to 281 liters. The 70-something liters missing were under the boot floor, so at first glance the boot looks the same. Charging cable fit in the styrofoam storage under the floor, and underneath there is something. Also in the back, there is slightly less space because the floor is raised slightly, but 3 adults should fit relatively comfortably, even if they have to pull up their legs a bit higher. I love the new upholstery with blue stitching, which suspiciously reminds me of BMW i3. It's very pleasant to touch, and I'm terrified to think what kids would do with chocolate in the back here. In the front, the cockpit is laid out like in an ordinary Soul, although, in my opinion, some of the materials used in the EV are better quality. Other changes include a couple of new buttons which are dedicated to the EV Soul, and on top of the dashboard here there's either a speaker or a little shelf depending on the version, on the spec. Instead here there are 3 blue lights. These lights signify the charging level when you're charging it, so they're blinking, and they're blinking blue. At night it looks as if a police car is parked outside your house. What else? The dials. The dials are now fully digital. On the left, instead of the rev counter, we have an eco indicator and an indicator which is showing the battery charge level or the range. Now, we'll get to those in a moment when we hit the road. I have a weak spot for electric cars. I believe this technology will soon play an important role in the automotive sector. Perhaps EVs will not replace cars we use to go for a family vacation, but as far as city driving is concerned, I can hardly think of any good reason to burn oil. Back to Kia Soul EV. Like most electric cars, Soul EV will be first off the lights most of the time, and it will stay in the lead at least until you reach 40-50 km/h. Anyway, you're not allowed to drive faster in the city. According to the eco indicator, the economic speed for this car is between 25 and 60 km/h. It also makes sense to go easy with the throttle and use the B mode on the gear selector, which recuperates kinetic energy. It's good for city driving, where coasting is unlikely. Between the dials, there is an eco score indicator with 8 points on it. Usually I find these eco indicators quite frustrating. It's because no matter what I do, I'm never good enough for the computer to score 100% or even 90%. Recently I've driven a Smart, and in this Smart, whatever I did, I got maybe 70-80% tops, and I had 50%, 60% most of the time. Very, very frustrating. But in the Soul, it's easy to get 7 to 8 points. At the same time, I see how fast I lose the points when I'm driving faster than the computer wants. See, now I'm driving about 70 and instantly I lost 1 point. Top speed for the electric Soul is 150 km/h, but let's face it, it's a city car first of all, and anyway, Soul has aerodynamic properties of a shoebox, so it's best to keep it below 120 on the motorway. And anyway, when you're going above 100 km/h, the range starts falling faster than normal. In the city, for every kilometer shown on the range counter, you can get probably about 1.5 kilometers of realistic range, but on motorway it's 1-to-1 or less. You've probably seen stickers on the side of this car. It says that the Kia Soul EV has a certified range of 212 kilometers. Now, I didn't have the balls to go below 25 kilometers range, but on that day I drove 165 kilometers, 65 extra urban, like here, 30 kilometers on the motorway, and probably about 70 kilometers in the city. So I guess in optimum conditions, when the weather is right, when it's not too hot, like today, 20 degrees outside, and not too sunny, in optimum conditions, I guess the Soul EV can do 212 kilometers, which is very good compared to other cars, because in other cars you have to be really careful with the throttle and how you drive to get the most out of them. And in this car it's relatively easy. You can help increase the range by switching aircon to driver only mode, and when range drops below 40 kilometers, SatNav will suggest the nearest charging station. So you're pretty safe here. Well, unless you live in Poland. The nearest charging station for me right now is about 15 kilometers away, and it's not a fast charger. It's a normal socket that will take about 12 hours to charge. So bummer that if you live in Poland. Here it's worth mentioning the batteries and the warranty. Kia gives a 7-year warranty for the batteries, like for the rest of the car, although EV manufacturers do not assume a significant drop in range after warranty expires. You may have a problem if, for example, the battery is damaged in an accident. Kia says there is no partial replacement, like in a BMW i3 you have to replace the whole battery pack, and that costs about 16,000 euros. Otherwise, Soul EV drives like a regular Soul. It's relatively easy to maneuver, even though the turning circle isn't that good, but you know, there is a reversing camera, so that's fine, that's okay. The steering is light but precise. Yes, there is this Kia Flex steer mode button on this thing, but I can't tell the difference between normal comfort and sport as usual. Now, the seats are comfortable, I like that, and I think I have to check how much this car is, because I really like it. I wouldn't mind owning one. So, if you like the Soul EV, I have bad news and I have bad news. Firstly, this thing can cost around 35,000 euros, and that's with the government incentive. Secondly, it's available only in some markets. On the other hand, compared to Nissan Leaf, Volkswagen e-Golf or BMW i3, Kia Soul EV offers the best real-life range. The question is whether it's worth the extra dough. And what about you? Would you buy an EV? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and, of course, rate and share my video with your friends. New episodes every Friday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.